Hey everybody, this is your daily dose of all things royal. Welcome back, my gorgeous good-looking friends. Today, we had the memorial service for Lisa Marie Presley at Graceland. Family, friends, and many fans came out to honor the late songwriter and singer of the only child of Elvis and Priscilla Presley. Among those, which were surprising to see at this memorial, were Alanis Morissette and from Guns N' Roses, Axl Rose.
I looked around and I reached out. I saw no alternative.
I just end up walking in the cold November rain.
But the most surprising one to give a tribute was Fergie, Duchess of York. I had no idea that she had such a close relationship with the Presley family.
Late mother-in-law used to say that nothing can be said can begin to take away the anguish and the pain of these moments, because grief is the price we pay for love.
In my opinion, everything was done extremely tasteful and very moving tributes to Lisa Marie Presley. The mayor, A.C. Wharton, attempted to make the point that Lisa Marie was the original American royalty because of her father. Elvis Presley was the king of rock and roll. In order to make this point, he starts to list off some very notable people in Hollywood and also in the music industry.
Before Lenny Kravitz and Lisa Bonet had Zoe, before Pink and Corey Hart had Willow, and yes, before Jay-Z and Beyonce had Blue Ivy.
I think all good and to a certain degree valid because they are in the same genre of music. But this next one threw me for a loop.
And long before Harry and Meghan had Archie, right here.
What a slap in the face to the people that he listed, incorporating those two idiots into the same class. In my opinion, those two grifting lowlifes should not have even been mentioned at Graceland, considering Harry did nothing but insult it. Those two are nothing near royalty. So get that out of your head, A.C. Wharton. And this is a good reason for why those titles need to be stripped now. Because Meghan wants the Americans to see herself and her douchebag husband as the American version of royalty. I know that it's such a small thing, but the fact that he even mentioned these two nobodies in such a high-profile event gives Harry and his harpy validation of what they're trying to achieve, which is set up court here in America. Meghan and Harry make American royalty look just as tacky as Miss Universe USA's costume this year.
USA! When Americans stepped on the moon in 1969, it was one small step for man. Today, women are more involved as leaders in returning the U.S. to the moon.
It literally is just as tacky and bad as this red dress. And the crazy thing is that she won Miss Universe this year. Anyhow, details have been released over the weekend about the king's coronation, giving the full itinerary of what is to transpire. The media now has begun to ramp up the will they, won't they be attending the coronation? Like, who the fuck cares? One thing is for sure. The Harkles were definitely extended an invitation. Probably not the invitation that they want, which means having a starring role in the festivities, but they were invited. It's now up to the Harkles to decide whether or not they're going to be able to go across the pond and feel safe to participate or stand in the back. It is a guarantee that we're going to get the Harkles are going to be going over and there's going to be a family reconciliation. Charles is extended an olive branch. Meghan and Harry don't feel safe bringing their children because they don't have security. Meghan's not going to go because she's going to have a big party for Archie for his birthday. You know, every week it's going to be some stupid puff piece coming out about, yes, one minute they're going, the next minute they're not. So for now, let's savor the peace of not hearing or seeing anything about the Harkles. We know that it's coming. We know that they're scheming. We know that they're planning to do something thirsty and desperate. But for now, let's just enjoy the break from seeing them saturate our media. So let's talk about what Buckingham Palace released over this weekend as far as the details regarding this coronation. I'm fascinated by it. So the actual coronation is going to take place on Saturday, May 6, 2023, and the service will be conducted by the Archbishop of Canterbury, Justin Welby, and it will be at Westminster Abbey. So this coronation, again, we're going to see the celebration and pageantry like no other. The Brits know how to do it. Their Majesties, the King and Queen Consort, will arrive at Westminster Abbey in procession from Buckingham Palace, and it's the King's procession, which I'm sure is going to be pretty awesome. I think he will be in the carriage, I think. After the service, their Majesties will return to Buckingham Palace in a larger ceremonial procession known as the Coronation Procession. Their Majesties will be joined in this procession by other members of the royal family. That's going to be so exciting to see, especially when they go onto the balcony. I am sure that's going to be a beautiful scene without Meghan and Harry. Now, on Sunday, May 7th, there's going to be a special coronation concert that will take place at Windsor Castle. And it will be broadcasted by the BBC. And apparently, it's going to be world-class orchestras playing interpretations of musicals, favorite fronted by some of the world's biggest entertainers. It's a guarantee that this is going to be just as good, if not better, than what we witnessed at the Platinum Jubilee. And I'm here for it, for sure. So according to the media and its reporting over the weekend, it appears that King Charles is going to be scrapping the outdated coronation outfit. The media is reporting that Charles will don his military uniform on the big day in bid to represent the modern 21st century monarchy. And I find it funny that this is what they're choosing to break tradition with. To me, it feels like he just doesn't want to wear the silk stockings and breeches. So this is what King George looked like. I don't know how I feel about this. Like, he's worn this uniform on several occasions. Wearing the tights and the full traditional robe is a once-in-a-lifetime thing. You only get to do this once, so do as your predecessors have done. So here's a fun fact. It appears that King Charles will be wearing 2 crowns the day of the coronation. The first one is St. Edward's crown, and it's the crown that's used at the moment of coronation. It's what Archbishop will put on Charles's head. It was actually made for Charles II in 1661 as a replacement for the medieval crown, which had been melted down in 1649. The original was thought to date back to the 11th century royal saint Edward the Confessor, the last Anglo-Saxon king of England. The crown was commissioned from the royal goldsmith Robert Biner in 1661. Although it is not an exact replica of the medieval design, it follows the original in having 4 crosses and 4 fleurs-de-lis and 2 arches. It is made up of a solid gold frame set with rubies, amethysts, sapphires, garnet, topazes, and tourmalines. The crown has a velvet cap with an ermine band. And for those that are wondering, reference from royalcentral.co.uk, this crown weighs about 5 pounds and is estimated to be worth a little bit more than 3.6 million pounds. You know, one would think that this crown would be worth more considering it's so old and also the significance of the crown. 3.6 million pounds or almost $5 million is similar to like the dress that Marilyn Monroe wore, which was reported to be worth $5 million and was ruined by Kim Kardashian when she wore it to the Met. Disgraceful. It seems like Kim K is on this mission to be buying pieces of jewelry from very well-known collections. Most recently, she bought this cross that was once worn by Diana, Princess of Wales. Now, the other crown that King Charles will wear on the day of coronation will be the Imperial State Crown, which is this one. Now, this is the really impressive crown, and it's formed from an openwork gold frame mounted with 3 very large stones and set with, and get this, 2,868 diamonds in silver mounts, largely table rows and brilliant cut and colored stones in gold mounts, including 17 sapphires, 11 emeralds, and 269 pearls. Wow. According to the Royal Collection Trust's website, it says, at the front of the crown band is a large cushion-shaped brilliant Cullinan II, the second largest stone cut from the Cullinan diamond, also known as the second star of Africa. At the back of the band is a large oval sapphire known as the Stuart sapphire. The 2 large stones are linked by an openwork frieze containing 8 step-cut emeralds and 8 sapphires between 2 rows of pearls. Now, above the band are 2 arches, or 4 half arches, each springing from a cross pate. The front cross is mounted with a large, irregular cabochon red spinel known as the Black Prince's Ruby. In its history, the stone was pierced for use as a pendant, and the upper hole later plugged with a small cabochon ruby in a gold slip mount. The remaining 3 crosses are each mounted with a step-cut emerald mounted as a lozenge. The crosses alternate with 4 fleurs-de-lis, each with a mixed-cut ruby in the center. Both crosses and fleurs-de-lis are further mounted with diamonds. The crosses and fleur-de-lis are linked by swags of diamonds supported on sapphires. Yeah, wow, that's beautiful. Let's pause and talk about this Cullinan diamond because I don't think many fully understand how impressive this diamond really is. In its natural state, the 3,106 carat Cullinan was a diamond of exceedingly rare quality, the size of an actual human heart. It was undoubtedly the largest gem quality rough diamond ever discovered. Naturally, a diamond of this size and splendor was pretty impressive. Where would it be kept? Would it be preserved in its rough form or cut? These were questions that all came up, like, what are you going to do with it? If cut, who would wear such a precious jewel? The many questions arising from the Cullinan's discovery were answered in 1907. South Africa's Transvaal colony government purchased the gem and gifted it to King Edward VII of Great Britain as a birthday gift and commemorative tribute for 5 years of peace between the 2 countries following the Second Boer War's end in 1902. According to royalasher.com, it says that this diamond made an unusual trip from Africa to Great Britain. And it states, first, the diamond had to make its way from the African continent to Europe's seat of the British monarchy, London, England. With the ravenous eyes of the international press watching the diamond's every move, the colonial government set up a decoy of armed guards and military personnel, intentionally making a grand production of transporting the Cullinan to the British capital. But in fact, the enormous diamond was placed in a regular parcel and simply posted to the London office of one of the mine associates. Upon the Cullinan's arrival in London, King Edward VII quickly turned to Joseph Asher for advice on what to do with such an unprecedented gem. While the king was initially partial to keeping it in the rough, Asher pleaded to have it cut and polished, assuring the monarch that he would personally oversee every step of the process. Eventually, King Edward caved and informed Joseph Asher that not only was he to cut the stone, but he would be performing the task for the British crown and royal family jewelry collection. Asher delicately cut this diamond into 9 pieces, where Cullinan I, which is the Great Star of Africa, is the largest of the Cullinan diamonds, and it weighs 530 carats and is cut with 74 facets. Cullinan II, which is the smaller Star of Africa, has a prestigious home at the front and center of Great Britain's imperial crown. Cullinan III is the pear-cut diamond, and it weighs 94.4 carats and is rumored to be Queen Mary's personal favorite from the collection. Cullinan 3 and Cullinan 4 set for Queen Mary's coronation crown. Cullinan 5 is the heart-shaped diamond, and it's about 18.8 carats and set in a platinum and diamond brooch worn by the Queen Mary. This happened to be one of the late Queen's favorite pieces inherited from the Queen Mary in 1953. I wonder who this went to. Maybe Catherine? The Cullinan 6, 7, and 8 diamonds are typically mix and match, where the Cullinan 6 is a marquee cut diamond at 11.5 carats. The Cullinan 7 is at 8.8 carats, and the Cullinan 8 is at 6.8 carats. And coming in last, the Cullinan 9 is at 4.39 carats, and it is a stepped pear-cut stone, sits in a platinum ring created by the House of Garrard in 1911. You might be asking yourself, how much is this Cullinan massive diamond worth, the size of a heart? Well, price estimation, according to Worthy, is $2 billion. So logically, the next question is, well, how much is this crown worth? Well, the answer is unknown. You see, the crown has never been appraised and is not insured. The imperial state crown, or crown of state, is the crown the monarch exchanges for St. Edward's crown at the end of the coronation ceremony. Before the Civil War, the ancient coronation crown was always kept at Westminster Abbey, and the monarch needed another crown to wear when leaving the abbey. The imperial state crown is also used on formal occasions such as the annual state opening of Parliament. The term imperial state crown dates back to the 15th century when English monarchs chose a crown design closed by arches to demonstrate that England was not subject to any other earthly power. You just can't put a price tag on that, but we can bet that Shouty Shola and all the other anti-monarchists are going to be the ones screaming at the top of their lungs, demanding that the jewels be returned back to the former colonies of where they came from. In my opinion, no, I don't think the crown needs to give it back because it was a gift from the South African government for keeping peace in the region. Nobody died to get that diamond. Now, on the other hand, the diamond that should be returned is the Kohinoor diamond. This is the crown that the Queen Mother wore at King George's coronation, and it will be the crown that Camilla will wear at King Charles's coronation this year. And the reason why this crown is controversial is because of the 105 carat diamond that is on it. Now, according to the Royal Collection Trust, it says that this large diamond on the front was given to Queen Victoria in 1856 by the Sultan of Turkey. And that's not true. In 1849, the East India Company, a British trading enterprise from 1600 to 1870s, took the diamond from the Maharaja Dalteep Singh, the last king of the Sikh Empire. The Sikhs had to surrender the diamond to Queen Victoria as part of the Treaty of Lahore, which marked the end of Anglo-Sikh wars in the Punjab, present-day eastern Pakistan, and northern India. It's specifically stated in the 1849 Treaty of Lahore. This is what it says, and let me show you a clearer breakdown of the text. As you can see, guys, in bullet number 3, it says the gem called the Kohinoor, and it states there that it shall be surrendered. It does not say it was gifted to the Queen of England. So I'm not sure why they have that listed there as the story, but that's not the story. Could it be they don't want to give it back because it's worth about 400 million? Maybe. I think the people that should get reparations, like truly get reparations, are the people of India. Because during World War I and World War II, as India was still a British colony and under British rule, one of the little known facts that we don't talk about World War II is that India's contribution of men and material helped bail out the West. Over 2.6 million Indian troops played a decisive role in helping Britain's war efforts. India was a key player in helping the British with this war. These are the things that we should be talking about when we talk about giving back and reparations to the colonies. Over 3 million people died of famine as a result of Winston Churchill's policies. And I get it. Winston Churchill was seen as this hero in the UK. But from an outside perspective, and looking at his feelings and thoughts around India and the people of India, he didn't see or consider them as human beings. Winston Churchill denied sending wheat to India. Since 1939, the United Kingdom had been drawing grain and manufactures from India for the war effort, and the colonial government had been printing money to pay for these purchases, which resulted naturally in inflation and combined with other factors to precipitate famine in early 1943. It's truly a fascinating story, considering how much of a role they played in the war effort, and then for this famine to happen as a result of direct influence from Winston Churchill. That's why I think that, yeah, I think it would be okay if they gave the diamond back to the people of India. I think they could use the 400 million plus that could come from that diamond in reparations for this grave, horrible, horrible decision. I wonder if Mr. Sunak has thought about it or reflected on Britain's past. The coronation's going to be a good time for all. Charles has the opportunity to do a lot of good, so we'll see what happens. And on that note, I'm just going to leave you here with this King's Coronation sticker book that I saw up on Reddit. Take a guess who's missing from this book. I think that's a positive sign. But anyhow, let me know what you guys think. Leave your thoughts below. And I will be back soon with more content. But until then, be safe, and I'll catch you later. Bye.
I was such a fraud.